All right, what's up everyone? It's, what is it, January 14th? Anyways, I got Jennifer out here holding the camera. The reason I'm out here working in the dark is Jennifer and I are waiting on Matt and Brooke Wright from Extreme Instinct and Naked and Afraid. They've been working on the building process of a handmade custom bushcraft knife for myself. It's their famous Naked Not Afraid knife that they build. Matt and I earlier on had an excellent conversation on the phone. I'm really excited to meet both of them. They're local here in Colorado, based out of Elbert, Colorado. They were gonna be moving back to Florida, and they said, you know, you're clearly a huge fan, and we appreciate you supporting local business. So they actually invited me into the opportunity to meet them both in person to exchange the knife. I've heard today that the knife is completed. They're en route to Denver, I guess a little bit delayed. So Jennifer and I are just out here hanging out. I'm doing a little bit of work until they arrive, and we're just hoping that we'll be able to grab a couple pictures with them, say a few words. I don't anticipate they'll stay long. We're both really looking forward to meeting them, and I'm really stoked to get my hands on that blade. Stay tuned.
Your new blade.
Wow.
It's got your fire starter rod.
yeah.
This is your knife, your carbide sharpener on the bottom.
Yep.
Then I got some extra paracord, so I make a little paracord bracelet
look
to
at
go
that.
along with it.
Oh, that's cute.
And that way it matches.
Look at that face. Look at that. Look at that stud.
Love
And
it.
we've got a couple, little note from Brooke here.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's not forget the important safety precautions here.
Yes. I saw on the website, they're like, hey, you've got to know your own state, or regulations around
Yep.
using the blade. So what are the regulations here? in
They all change, but in Denver itself, if you walk around with this big of a fixed blade knife, technically to walk around in the city limits, you definitely wouldn't want to carry it on your belt. But it does say sharp enough to cut the tension in a room.
I just read that. That is great. All right. So what's the safest,
Yep. So
without sounding ignorant,
Yep.
what's
And
the
just pull out
safest
as
way
long as you keep your hand away from that particular spot right there. You're good to go.
Oh my God. Oh, that's sexy as hell. Woo-wee.
We don't always have where somebody actually will pick out the exact colors.
Yeah?
But it was kind of neat. You actually picking out the two exact colors of Cerakote made that thing is a one of a kind.
This
It's
is
awesome.
beautiful. Oh my God. Okay. Well, yeah. Could you explain to the camera?
It's a CPM 3V steel. So CPM stands for crucible powdered metal. So it's actually formed under powder, which is pretty wild. It's actually shot through essentially a mister when it's formed the steel originally.
Oh, dude, this sounds insane.
And so the steel has one of the highest impact, resistance steels on the planet. So the steel itself's tough. Then the design of the blade is essentially the kukri style survival knife. So it's going to be good at chopping, good at moving. These little notches up here actually help you to choke up on it. If you got to do some detailed stuff, you got to skin some little animal. Of course, you got a brush hook / skin hook. I've done everything from skinning warthogs to snakes to actually reaching up, cutting a vine.
Yeah.
It originally designed it for brush hook, so if you got small sapling, you can grab the
Boom,
sapling
perfect.
and pull it out instead of
Okay.
trying to whack at it. A little saw back on the back is going to be good for notching trap mechanisms.
Interesting. Yeah.
little
From the pictures, I imagine that being more significant or bigger.
Yep.
So I like how subtle.
And it's it's one of those, like, if it was too aggressive and you need to choke up on the knife, because the knife is actually a very good draw knife.
Okay.
You could actually do that, which you'll find a lot for making your feather sticks.
Exactly.
You'll also be doing that a lot for if you're making some primitive furniture, something where you really need to strip a lot of bark.
Sure.
Then the eye hook's actually a half-inch round circle to actually where you could run atlatl darts through it or arrow shafts. And what that's going to do is it's not necessarily sharp, but as you run a stick through it, it's going to knock all the little nubs off the stick without cutting into the fibers of the stick.
Can we do a demonstration with one of these?
You can kind of see it if you were to take like a.
Okay, so it's
like
not one of these sticks, like
yeah,
a live.
so just for like a somewhat of an example here.
Oh, here we go. Demonstration.
But as you run through, see, like you had a stick, you would have all these nubs.
Yep.
As you run those nubs through, it's going to start pulling on those nubs. Yep, you're just going to be taking off all that. And so to mill out, it could be everything from a primitive fire bow, spindle, anything you need to kind of mill out and make as nice as possible for everything from processing cordage. This actually tapers down here because say if you were to get a yucca fiber, you'd run that yucca through there like so.
Okay.
As you pull that through, it's going to strip all that pulp off.
Oh my goodness.
And so then I actually like to take it, as I strip through like this, I'll pull my hand like this,
Okay.
And then as you pull that through,
Collects
it's gonna start collecting that that fiber off, and then you're gonna have your nice long fibers left. Also, you'll find yourself, if you have a log, a stump, like so, you can then run it through with having both hands free. Then you have your little socket on here. It's going to be used for your spindle, and this is now your top socket of a bow drill.
Yeah.
The lashing holes are set up in a way that you can actually lash this onto a long spear, reach up, cut down sticks.
Okay.
I tell people, like, you wouldn't necessarily use it to spear a pig, but if you had to, you could. Also, if you were to find a stick that looks like an L, you could actually lash this onto there and you make it a sickle, and you could actually cut through grass. By lashing this and this, you would have a sickle to cut a lot of grass, to make a debris shelter or something like that.
Okay.
This back end here, I designed that just a little bit of a flat. You'll hold the knife like so, and you'll crack walnuts. You crack, any bone you might find.
Sure.
It's good to keep your blade protected. Then it's just the back part. So I've used that to do flint knapping before, where you can just break up some stones. You break up something you don't want to hurt the rest of your blade with. Then this little concave section, if you need to make a trap mechanism, and you grab a round stick like so.
Gotcha.
As you polish that back and forth, that's going to make that nice and smooth.
Okay.
So if you have a trap mechanism, what I find, and you need to polish it to really be a hair trigger, that's a little concave section just for that, and that literally is only going to be used for, for taking something and polishing it to the point where it will be super slippery.
Okay.
And then the knife itself, it's designed to feel good in the hand.
So much lighter than
the edge dynamics of this knife, it is what makes it feel like it's lighter than it is.
Okay.
The handle, that's that CNC machined G10, pretty much bulletproof handle. You can't break it, but it's going to give you a good grip. And then of course your custom lasering on there,
that's beautiful.
which came out perfect.
That's beautiful. Oh yeah.
And then really the knife itself doesn't require almost any maintenance at all. It's a CPM 3B steel. It's not the most resistant to salt water, but you also have a Cerakote, which is the strongest coating that they make on the planet, pretty much. That Cerakote, you can literally drop that knife in a bucket of acid, and it would barely do anything. So that the knife itself, it will wear some of that, but it'll wear it in a cool way. You'll and you'll see where you chop. I find I use all pretty much right here is where most of my chopping is done, and then you'll find just everybody kind of ends up using the knife in a different way.
Well, that's right. You don't want to be one of those people where you're walking around and it's very evident you've not used your axe or blade.
And this section right here is left kind of sharp.
Okay.
And it's sharp enough to take your ferro rod, and you can actually scrape that ferro rod.
Oh, rather than using the.
This right here, tungsten carbide, that will scrape that the best, and then you don't have to worry about cutting yourself.
And is that specifically for this, or do we use this on the knife? This is actually your
sharpener.
Okay.
And how you would sharpen, right now this thing's literally razor sharp, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
See, you hold it at the same edge that the blade angle is. So see how this part here dictates, you don't want to hold it like that, of course.
Yep.
But this edge, and then you're just going to run that along that edge.
Gotcha.
So you're really only going to notice, that it needs it if you're chopping, you hit a little rock, and you see a little nick, and then you can sit there and you'll scrape that. This is, being tungsten carbide, this is harder than any metal going to be on a knife blade, and you're going to be able to actually shave a little bit of that metal away.
Okay.
And then to keep this honed up, I would say a round diamond file or ceramic rod, and you can keep that sharpened up.
Okay.
But this is great in the field, and on Naked and Afraid, I have done lots of days in the wild with a sharpening stone, but only this, and it does wonders. Once you start using it, you'll be like, oh, that's great.
So they let you throw
it's
that
part,
on there
part
too.
of the knife sheet.
Sneaky. It looks like it's got oil on it.
And then any kind of oil, cooking oil. I put on there is a gun oil on it right now. Okay. It seems to stay on it a little better. If you want to process food with it, cooking spray is fantastic. Okay. Then the knife sheath itself drains out the bottom. But what you want to do is, if it does ever get dirty, rinse this out and make sure all that dirt's out of there as possible. Yeah. Any dirt will be what wears that coating off. Okay. And as it's colder, it'll stick in harder. Got it. As it's hotter, it'll slide in a little easier. It's just the way constriction of the Kydex goes.
So What about the reverse when pulling it out? Does it have the same effect?
Yeah, kind of the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if you need it to stick more, right now I have it to where you'll be able to slide it in here, you know, real easy if it's on your belt.
Yeah.
It'll hold it pretty much upside down.
Oh,
as
nice.
it gets hotter, it might want to slide
Sure.
out. If that's the case, all you have to do is heat this up a little bit and push on a couple pressure points. As you heat it, you can heat it with like a heat gun, blow dryer, or something like that.
Okay.
And you can actually make that a little snap, a little tighter. But for now, it should be fantastic.
Good deal.
The being Caid-Loos, you don't have to worry about it. Then this right here.
Yeah, what is this?
So this, you pop that guy down, pull these two together, then this comes up. Now you can take that, put that on your backpack strap, put it on your belt. But what's nice is, you know, sometimes you wear this, no problem.
Yeah.
But other times you might want to take this knife and you might want to carry it a little across your lower back.
Okay.
If you're carrying it like that, all you got to do is take those two off right here. It's just Phillips head screwdriver.
Boom, boom.
Change the whole direction to the other side, and then you can actually take that and turn it.
That's cool.
Turn it horizontal. I carry it a lot on a backpack strap when I'm not.
Sure.
So then actually on your bag, you could take that, snap it in place. Now you don't have to worry about
Nice.
it. So I do that with it. If I'm putting it on a backpack strap, now the knife can't come.
Wow.
And you can do that on your belt too, but then you have to take the whole thing off and get it out. But it's nice if you do have to strap that into something, you just don't have to worry about it.
I like that.
And then just remember, this is the lock, so once that's up, now it can't come open. So once you pop that down, then you can pop that up like so.
Cool. And thank you, because this will be helpful for me to rewatch.
Yeah.
One thing I did remember is that you mentioned that the handle is
the handle does-
detachable.
Yep. So and a penny, a dime works good to open that up, as well as just a nice heavy, you know, big size flathead screwdriver.
Okay.
Inside you'll see a little cutout of the steel. The cutout is mainly there to create a little bit more end heavy and take a little bit of the weight out of the handle.
Yeah.
But it also creates a little spot where you can stick some fish hooks, fishing line, anything you might want to keep in the handle. And if you do that, I'll often take a washer.
Yeah.
5/16 washer, you find it like a hardware store.
Sure.
You probably have one laying in
Yeah.
your
Oh yeah.
house.
Oh yeah.
When you tie that on, that washer then becomes the key to open this up out in the field. Only thing I ever keep in it would be like a picture. I put a picture of Brooke in there. Every challenge I've kept a picture of Brooke.
I saw the challenge
little
with Brooke, the little note that she left for her, and
I just did a more recent one where I was literally in the water for like almost this whole time. So instead of putting it in the handle, I actually had it written on the Kydex material on a second piece of Kydex, because that way it didn't get ruined in the water. But
the sheath feels very durable.
And you really can't hurt that stuff.
Okay.
It takes over a couple hundred degrees to get that to change its shape. So for the most part, you're really not gonna be able to hurt it. There's probably a good 8 or 10 feet or something of the paracord on there, if you ever needed to take that off of something.
Oh, it looks gorgeous.
But yep, your laser work on that. And the colors, everything came out fantastic.
I'll have to take a close-up shot of that later.
Yeah.
On. But yeah, I love that. Did this make sense to you, by the way?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was I thought that was kind of cool.
It's nice to have something on a knife, because your mental game's the biggest.
Yeah.
That's the biggest, you know. You think about keeping it simple. Keep it simple, you're like, there, you know, it's a reminder.
Exactly.
You go to your core things that you need, but you go to your core in your brain when it comes to survival.
Yep.
And that's where that's going to come in big, and it's to have that little personal touch.
This is awesome, dude. You did a great job. I'm pumped. I'm like, what else do I need to cut down, you know? Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity to meet you, man. Like, this is awesome. This is so cool. And there you have it, folks. Catch you on the next one.